to another episode of Hope Kids Online. I'm super excited for today. Are you excited?
I'm excited.
Oh man, it's going to be good. We're continuing on our series called The Lord is My Shepherd.
Yeah, the Lord is my shepherd.
Yeah, the Lord is my shepherd. And we're actually continuing with walking through the valley of the shadow of death. Oh. You know, are you afraid of the dark? So dark! Oh my God! Okay. Whew. All right.
What was that?
I'm glad we turned the lights back on because, you know, it could be a little scary because we don't know what's out there.
Right.
But you know what? God is our protection. The verse we're actually learning is, I'm going to say in the King James Version because that's where I remember. It says, "Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me." And we're going to talk about what a rod and a staff is and how they're different and yet the same at the same time.
They're similar.
Anyway, so we're going to talk more about what that is, but first, watch this.
Oh, hey, it's me again. Are you ready to learn from one of the most amazing chapters of the Bible? You remember what it is, right? Yeah, Psalm 23. I'm having so much fun memorizing this, and hopefully you are too. So let's quiz ourselves on what we've learned so far from the first 3 verses. The Lord is my shepherd. I have all that I need. He lets me rest in green meadows. He leads me beside peaceful streams. He renews my strength. He guides me along right paths, bringing honor to His name. Wow, you guys are doing so well. No doubt the Good Shepherd is excited about how much you are memorizing Psalm 23. So, let's move on to verse 4. Psalm 23 verse 4 says, "Even when I walk through the darkest valley, I will not be afraid, for you are close beside me. Your rod and your staff protect and comfort me." Have you ever felt afraid? There are a lot of things that make me feel afraid. Stuff like spiders, snakes, clowns. Hey, don't laugh. Clowns are weird looking. One thing that many people are afraid of, the dark. The dark can be a really scary place. Sometimes in the dark, our imaginations start to run wild, and we begin to think that there are scary things there in the room with us. It's not true, of course, but we think that way. The dark can be a very scary place. Sheep, they're no different than you and me. They don't like the dark either. And sometimes when the shepherd leads them through a dark valley, they can get a little scared. But the Bible in Psalm 23 says that you and I don't have to be scared. Even when we go through the darkest moments in life, we don't have to be scared because God, the Good Shepherd, is right there with us. Sometimes life's going well and you feel like you're high on the mountaintop. But other times, you're going through difficult moments and it feels like you're down in the valley. Well, no matter how dark your valley may seem, you don't have to be afraid because you can know you're never alone. God is always with you. And that's exactly what you're going to learn about in your lesson today. You're going to learn through the story of Gideon how you don't ever have to be afraid, no matter how dark of a valley you might be going through. So get ready to learn some incredible stuff as you continue, The Lord is My Shepherd. See you later.
Hey Hope family, I want to let you know about new services that are opening up right here at our Sarasota campus. Many of you have been asking about when is Saturday and when is Wednesday going to open back up again, and I'm excited to announce that they are opening, but they're going to be different than what you've come to know from what we did pre-COVID. So Saturday is opening for Hope Kids, but we're actually calling it Igreja Hope Kids because it's specifically for our Brazilian community. If you don't know, we have an entire Brazilian church that's called Igreja Hope that's part of our Church of Hope family. And there's a large community of our Brazilian friends that are part of us, and they have been doing services on Saturday night at 7 o'clock. And so if you're part of that community and you would like to bring your kid to elementary services, they will do that. They'll be in English, but also it'll be led by our Igreja Hope friends they can slip into Portuguese if something's not quite making sense. So that's happening. That actually happens on October 3rd is their first service, and they will continue to there. If you want to be a part of our Wednesday night services, we are bringing those back, but we're doing them slowly. So our first Wednesday night service will be October 14th at 7 o'clock. That service will be, for adults, will be worship, word, and communion. It's going to be an incredible night and one you won't want to miss. And then for the kids, it's going to be a whole lot of fun where we play games, we learn about the Bible, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So you want to come and be a part of that, what's happening on October 14th. After that, we will meet once a month until the new year, and I'll give you more information about that as we get closer. Those of you who have been trying to come to 9 a.m. and have been sitting in the adult service and you want to come be a part of what we're doing, we're also starting our 9 a.m. on October 25th. October 25th, our 9 a.m. services start again in our Sarasota campus. So there you go, 3 big openings, Saturday, Wednesday, and Sunday at 9 a.m., all happening within the next month. And there's a lot going on. Make sure you want to catch everything that's happening at Hope Kids at churchofhope.com/kids. See you soon.
All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Potato Head Theater. Today's Bible story is found in the book of Judges, chapter 6. Gideon was a young man in the weakest clan, in the weakest tribe in all of Israel.
Hi, everybody. My name's Gideon. I'm the weakest man in the weakest clan, in the weakest tribe, in the weakest country of the entire world. It is awful to be me.
The Midianites had taken over all of Israel, and everyone was afraid.
We're gonna take over all of Israel and steal all of your food.
One day, Gideon was threshing wheat in a winepress because he was afraid the Midianites would find him and steal all of his grain.
I sure don't want them to find me. I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna thresh all of my wheat inside of this giant wine press so no one will see me.
Then suddenly an angel of the Lord appeared and said, "The Lord is with you, mighty warrior."
The Lord is with you, mighty warrior.
"Excuse me, my lord?" Gideon replied.
What are you talking about? What do you mean, mighty warrior? Don't you know who I am? you realize that all hope is lost? Look at me. I'm stuck inside of a bucket throwing dirt into the air. There's no way that God is for us.
Why do we have to be so afraid of the Midianites if God is with us? The Lord turned to him and said, "Go in the strength you have and save Israel out of Midian's hand. Am I not sending you?"
Go in the strength that I am giving you. Go. I have delivered the Midianites into your hands. Go. Am I not sending you? Because I said go like 4 times. You got it?
"Pardon me, my lord," Gideon replied, "but how can I save Israel? My clan is the weakest in Manasseh, and I am the least in my family."
Don't you know who I am? I'm the weakest person in the weakest clan, in the weakest family, in the weakest tribe, in the weakest country. I can't fight the Midianites. I'm too scared.
The Lord answered, "I will be with you, and you will strike down all the Midianites, leaving none alive."
The Lord will be with you. You will strike down all of your enemies, and no one will possibly survive. It's going to be awesome.
Gideon was amazed, but he still wasn't quite sure, so he came up with a test. Gideon said to God, "If you will save Israel by my hand as you have promised, look, I will place a wool fleece on the threshing floor."
All right, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to do a test. I'm going to take some wool right here. I'm going to put it right down here on the ground, and we're going to see what happens.
If there is dew only on the fleece and all the ground is dry, then I will know that you will save Israel by my hand.
If there's dew, if this thing is soaking wet and everything else is dry all around it, I know that you are with me, and all things going to be gravy, baby.
And that is what happened. Gideon rose early the next morning.
I wonder if it happened. Let's go check it out.
He squeezed the fleece and wrung out the dew. It was a bowl full of water.
Let's squeeze this out and see what happens. Oh my gosh, look at how much water's coming out of this. Almost none. There. This is amazing. Do you believe me now?
Gideon was amazed, but he still wasn't convinced.
This is awesome, but I'm still not quite sure. Would you please indulge me for another test?
Gideon said to God, "Do not be angry with me. Let me do one more request. Allow me to do one more test with this fleece."
If you must. What is it?
This time make the fleece dry and the ground be covered with dew.
All right, so this time, Miss Fancy Pants, what I want you to do is we're gonna make the ground completely wet, but the fleece completely dry. Can you do it? Only then will I trust God.
That night, God did so. Only the fleece was dry. All the ground was covered with dew.
God's called me to do something. Let's see if what he said has actually happened. Ooh, this is amazing! The fleece is completely dry and everything else is wet all around it. I cannot believe this!
Finally, Gideon was convinced and became a mighty warrior and led the Israelites to freedom from the Midianites.
I totally believe God has called me now. Bring me my sword! Let's get all of the Midianites! Yeah!
Thank you for joining us on another episode of Potato Head Theater.
Thanks for joining us. See you next time.
Shauna the sheep shearer. I am like a hairdresser except for sheep. I am here to teach you today's power verse. Now the power verse today is Even when I walk through the darkest valley, I will not be afraid, for you are close beside me. Your rod and your staff protect and comfort me. Psalm 23:4. Well, hot dog, what an absolutely fabulous verse. But you know what? I could use some help saying it. How about the girls stand up and say it with me? Are you ready? Go ahead and stand up, girls. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Even when I walk through the darkest valley, I will not be afraid, for you are close beside me. Your rod and your staff protect and comfort me. Psalm 23:4. All right, girls, you did a wonderful job. Now you can sit down, and I want all the boys to stand up, and let's see if you can say it even louder. Are you ready, boys? 1, 2, 3. Even when I walk through the darkest valley, I will not be afraid, for you are close beside me. Your rod and your staff protect and comfort me. Psalm 23:4. You know, you guys did a great job. You can sit down. The other night, I was at the shop, and there was wool all over the floor, and I was there late cleaning all by myself, and I was sweeping up wool when all of a sudden, the power went out, and I was standing there in the dark, and I was so afraid. Guys, I'm not gonna lie to you. I was scared to death, and I didn't know what I was gonna do. But then I stopped, and I thought, okay, God, I know that you're with me always. Just give me peace right now. And do you know what? As soon as I thanked God for His presence, the lights came back on, and I was reminded, I'm never alone. God is always with us. So I think it's important that we take another look at this power verse. Let's all stand up together and say it again. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Even when I walk through the darkest valley, I will not be afraid, for you are close beside me. Your rod and your staff protect and comfort me. Psalm 23:4. Great job, everybody. Go ahead and sit down. Sit down. You know, I have another sheep coming in just a few minutes for one of my world famous sheep hairdos. So I'm going to have to catch you next time. But don't forget, if you don't remember the power verse, that would be bad. I'll see you next time.
What are you afraid of? Is it the dark? Is it snakes? Is it bugs? Is it heights? Or is it standing in front of a group of people and trying to tell them something? We're all afraid of different things. It's just the way that life is. But we don't have to live our life in fear, because God is always with us. That's why when David wrote in Psalm 23:4, he said, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. David knew that he would walk through the most dangerous times. And if you read his story, he certainly walked through some pretty dangerous things. But here's the most important part of that verse that I want you to focus on. It says, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. That through word is a lot of times when people believe in Jesus Christ, they think that their lives are going to be okay, that they won't have to actually go through any kind of trouble. And that's not true. Just as we talked about a few weeks ago, that we have to go through it. God is with us through it. And Psalm 23:4, as we learned just in our power verse, is that it actually gives us 3 separate things that we can use, that God actually uses to get us through. The first thing that God does is the Good Shepherd, uses His rod to protect us. Now, this is a picture of a rod here, and this is what shepherds used all the time. They use this rod as a defensive weapon. So when bears or lions or wolves would come, or any of the wild animals would come to attack the sheep, the shepherds would take the rod and use it as a club to beat back all of the wild animals and protect the sheep. You see, God is our protector. God sees the problems that are coming towards us. He sees our enemies coming towards us. He sees the things that are around us, and God is strong enough to defeat them. Disease, sickness, all those things. God can protect us from those things that can protect us from all of those things. The second thing, the good shepherd uses his staff to bring us closer to him. Now, a lot of people think that the rod and the staff are the same thing, but they're actually not. See, while the rod is one long stick, the staff actually has that shepherd's crook on it, is what we call it, that little hook there. And what that shepherd's crook does is that the shepherd would use that as a comforting tool. He would reach out and hook the neck of the sheep gently and gently pull towards them so that the sheep could be safe, could feel warm, could feel love. So in Psalm 23:4, where it says, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me, because your rod and your staff protect me and comfort me. That staff comforts the sheep. Just God comforts us and comforts us as well. Because sometimes when we ask God for healing, it doesn't happen. And sometimes when we ask God to come in and do something, it doesn't work out exactly the way we want it to be. But that's okay, because God is right there with us, and He is there to comfort us and to make us feel better and to make us feel like we are loved and that it's all going to be okay. His staff comforts us. The last thing is that you never have to fear, because you are not alone. In our world, we live a lot of times consumed by fear, but we don't have to live that way because God is with us. It's like this water. Let's pretend this water is fear. And before we get started, I'm actually going to drink a little. That's good. That's good water. We have this fear here, and if we allow fear to overtake us, things like the coronavirus, doing well in school or doing well in sports, or maybe your parents are arguing and maybe you think about they're getting divorced, or maybe you have other things that's going on in your life that is causing you to be fearful, causing you to be stressed, causing you to be worried. And all of that fear is just inside of you, and you're not sure what you can do about it. But if you come to God and ask Him to take away your fear, you know what He will do? And this is incredible. God will actually take your fear completely away. Completely away. It's gone. We don't have anything to fear. Now, that doesn't mean that we still don't have the problems in the world, but we don't have to be afraid because God is in control. That's actually why we're about to sing a song called Not Afraid. We haven't sang it in a long time, but it's actually a song that they sing in the adult services. And the reason why I like it so much is that God is before me, He's behind me, He's always beside me, and I am not afraid. So let's pray real quick and then sing this together. God, thank you so much. God, that your rod, it comforts us. Our rod protects us. Your staff comforts us. And God, that you are always with us, that we have no reason to fear because you are with us. I pray for any one of these kids out here who are watching this right now, who are struggling and who are afraid. God, I pray that you help them to know that you, the God of the universe, is right there with them, and you can take away their fear completely away. God, I pray that you help us to not be afraid. It's your name we pray. Amen. Let's sing this song together, Not Afraid.
I've seen the faithfulness of God, the still inside the storm, the promise of the shore. I trust the power of your word. There